Kia ora koutou, and welcome to our series on tips to exporting. My name is Michelle, and I'm from the Exporter Help team, and I'm joined by Greg from Bilateral Relations and Trade, and we're both from the Ministry for Primary Industries. Thank you for joining us today for our webinar on Introduction to Overseas Market Access Requirements for Animal Products. This session will be approximately 30 minutes with an opportunity to ask questions at the end. We will not be able to answer questions until the end, so please wait until the presentation has concluded before asking your question. What we will cover today. Today's session is about introducing Overseas Market Access Requirements, or OMARs for short. We will cover animal product OMARs, which are animal product notices and are legal requirements issued under the Animal Products Act. We will only cover the document at a high level, so we will not have time to go over specific requirements. There are OMARs for wine and organic products, but again, we will not be covering these today. We will be going over 3 key points. 1, what you need to know about overseas market access requirements. 2, OMAR administration. And 3, navigating the structure of an OMAR. What are overseas market access requirements, or OMARs? First, OMARs are part of the export regulatory system, and MPI negotiates these requirements where possible with each individual destination market. Once requirements are negotiated and agreed, MPI publish these requirements as a country OMAR or OMAR notification. These documents are animal product notices, which are issued under the Animal Products Act. OMARs are unique to each market and are essential for the trade of animal products because they allow the destination market to have trust in the safety of the New Zealand system. It is mandatory to meet requirements in each OMAR and associated OMAR notifications, so it's important you know how to navigate them. Who does what? Because MPI negotiates trade conditions with overseas counterparts, MPI is responsible for setting and publishing OMAR requirements. On the other hand, industry, operators and exporters are responsible for ensuring that their primary industry products for export meet these requirements. An official assurance in the form of an export certificate can then be given verifying that these requirements have been met. While it is the exporter's responsibility to ensure their products meet export requirements, MPI has a role in providing information and guidance on meeting them. A recognised agency or person is a point of contact for most operators who export. Animal products can only be exported if they meet New Zealand domestic standards and New Zealand general export requirements, like the requirements for official assurances, labelling, packaging, storage, transport and testing, and meeting market or importing country requirements, which includes but is not limited to the OMAR. A good contact in your market can help you identify and meet other importing country requirements. The destination market has final say on what products it clears for entry. Even if you meet all requirements, and a product has been given an official assurance by way of export certificate, the destination market ultimately retains control over what products it clears for entry. You'll need to work with your importer to ensure they can receive the product successfully. OMAR administration. We'll now go into some administrative features you'll need to know when using OMARs. Who needs to read an OMAR? Those that need to get access to and read the OMAR include businesses or persons involved in the export supply chain that are registered under the Animal Products Act, or other persons that can demonstrate they require access. OMARs cover any or all stages of the export supply chain. It's necessary to ensure all relevant parties have gained access and have read the OMAR to ensure the final product is export eligible. OMARs contain commercially sensitive information, so they are password protected, and access is limited to those mentioned. You can tell when a document is restricted as it's indicated by a lock symbol. Access to OMAR is provided at an individual basis, and you'll need a RealMe login. A RealMe login is a single username and password the individual uses to securely access New Zealand government services online. While you apply for access to OMARs on the MPO website, the RealMe service is administered by the Department of Internal Affairs. I'm now going to hand you over to Greg to continue the next section of this webinar.
Finding OMAR documents on the MPI website. Located on the MPI website, you can use our search tool to search for a country's or market's OMAR. A market's landing page. When you search for an OMAR, you'll come across your searched market's landing page. Depending on the market you're intending to export to, there may be multiple documents you need to read. The OMAR landing page will outline all relevant documents that can apply to your export. As our example, we will use the China landing page. The first link under Animal Products houses the main OMAR for China. You'll need to read this document first and foremost. However, there are also other documents on this landing page, such as OMAR notifications, for your information or FYI documents, guidance documents, and more. You can see that some documents are password protected, while others are not. Read all relevant documents. You must read all relevant documents on a market's landing page in conjunction with the main market OMAR document. OMAR notifications are legal rules issued under the Animal Products Act that outline a sudden or urgent change to a destination market's rules. A good example of OMAR notifications are those that were issued when overseas countries adjusted their requirements in response to the 2024 HPAI outbreak in New Zealand. You can see some examples on the slide. FYIs and guidance documents. FYIs provide guidance on specific issues or give advanced warning of future changes to the rules. While they are not statutory requirements, they can help you meet certain rules. Guidance documents are like FYIs. Example, pet food to the Republic of South Korea. To reiterate, if you want to export animal products, you'll need to comply with New Zealand's legislation, the main market OMAR document and any applicable OMAR notifications, FYI documents, plus any other export requirements. You may also have to meet other requirements, including those set by other government agencies like the New Zealand Customs Service. In this example, if we were to export pet food to the Republic of South Korea, the additional document we would need to read would be this applicable FYI document, Korea Revised Pet Food Regulations. When we read this FYI, we need to read it in conjunction with the main Korean OMAR document. Documents get amended. Many documents in a market's landing page, including the main market OMAR, can get updated or changed at any time. It's important you work with the most up-to-date document to ensure you remain export eligible. Any amendment will be communicated through the respective document in highlight. Yellow highlight indicates new text, while turquoise highlight indicates existing text that has been rephrased or moved. Subscribe to receive updates. To stay informed, you can subscribe to receive exporting updates. When you subscribe, you will be notified by email when there are changes to the OMAR or other supporting documents, or when a new document has been published. You can subscribe on the MPI website. Navigating an OMAR. Now that we've dissected the landing page, let's go into the main OMAR itself. Because these are password protected, we will use a template for the example or redact some information where necessary. Title page and introduction. At the start of every OMAR, you'll find some important information on the title page and the introduction section. It's important you read these portions of the OMAR as it gives important context you'll need to know before reading the individual requirements. Parts. OMARs are split into chapters called parts. The topic of each part is market specific and will cover either a single type of animal product or a group of animal products. Parts are different for each market as they reflect the known requirements and agreements New Zealand has with that specific market. For example, one market may have Part 2 meat and meat products, while another may be more specific, like Part 2 bovine and ovine/caprine meat. Sections. Parts are split into sections, and these sections house the requirements. You must know what each section means, so we've broken them down. Application, definition, and prohibitions and restrictions. The application section outlines if a particular part applies to your product. Check with your importer when you're not sure the section applies to your product. Definition. The definition section will explain how certain terms are used in that specific OMAR, if they aren't already defined in New Zealand regulations. If a term is defined in the Animal Products Act, but not in the OMAR, then the term has the same meaning as in the Act. Prohibitions and restrictions. Many OMARs will have a prohibition or restriction section, which outlines what animal product or process is ineligible for an official assurance for export. Official approvals and official assurances. Official approvals. When some markets require exported products to be from approved premises included on official lists, also called country lists, this requirement would appear in the official approval section. To be included on these country lists, premises must meet requirements set by the destination market. Exporters must source their products from listed premises. Official assurances. You've probably heard the term export certificate or health certificate. These are known as official assurances, and you can identify if the destination market requires one for your product in the official assurances section. Usually in the form of export certificates, an official assurance allows the destination market to have confidence that the exported product meets all requirements. Within an OMAR, requirements versus guidance. Now that we know how an OMAR is structured, it'll be helpful to know what the requirements visually look like and how you can distinguish them from guidance, which is another very important feature within an OMAR. Requirements in an OMAR are presented as numbered clauses and schedules. Requirements are mandatory and represent the requirements that must be met. On the other hand, guidance inside an OMAR is information that is presented inside a box. Guidance is not part of the statutory requirements and are not mandatory to be met. Guidance includes interpretive material, indications of preferred ways of doing things, or references to where the reader can find more information. Tips to reading an OMAR. There are some important tips we'd like to outline when reading an OMAR. 1. Read the part that is relevant to the animal product you intend on exporting. 2. Always read the general part of the OMAR. The general part sets out requirements that apply to all animal products being exported to the destination market. You should read this part in conjunction with the relevant part that applies to you. 3. Read the applicable country OMAR and any associated OMAR notification and/or FYI. 4. Read the OMAR online. If you print out the OMAR, you may miss out on important information such as the most recent update and won't be able to access the hyperlinks contained in the OMAR. Do your homework. Exporting is not simple. Once you've read the OMAR, there are still many tasks you need to consider. 1. Check if the OMAR has any hyperlinks. Hyperlinks can be commonly found throughout most OMARs. Hyperlinks can help you meet requirements as they link to other resources, such as the Overseas Authorities website. You can be assured that any link in an OMAR is legitimate. 2. Talk to your verifier or manufacturer's verifier. This is a key step. Your verifier or manufacturer's verifier can help ensure you're meeting requirements in the OMAR. Plus, they can help you raise documents on MPI's electronic certification system. 3. Talk to your importer or in-market agent, another key step. It's important you talk to an importer or in-market agent as they can guide you through their specific market's requirements. It's common for a destination market to have additional requirements which are beyond MPI's scope of accountability. If the OMAR doesn't apply to your product or is silent on requirements, by confirming with your importer or in-market agent, you can be sure you're meeting all export conditions. 4. Talk with your industry body. If you belong to an industry body, they can be a great source of export information. They'll have knowledge and experience exporting and can assist with your export. I'll now hand you back to Michelle for the conclusion of this webinar.
As we conclude, I want to leave you with a few key messages from today. OMARs outline the rules you need to meet to export. Meeting them allows destination markets to have trust in your products and the safety of the New Zealand system. Next, manage all administrative features surrounding an OMAR. This includes getting access to OMARs, reading all applicable documents in conjunction with the OMAR, and subscribing to receive updates. Finally, OMARs are legal requirements and must be met. There are many requirements you need to navigate and comply to, so if you get stuck, contact a verifier or your importer to help. So that concludes our presentation. Thank you for attending today's session. We really appreciated your time with us.